Welcome, guys. We are getting ready for our episode 4 here of our vinyl happy hour. Got a fresh drink to be trying out that I picked up in New York a while back. Got some really cool new releases, some indie exclusives, and a holy grail, which is actually going to be a soundtrack that we're going to be talking about and showing off today. I've got a personal copy of that one that's one of my favorite albums and really expanded me into so many different types of music. So can't wait to show that off and talk about it. Or even for the first time, let us know if you're watching live. Just give us a thumbs up or write hi in the comments below so we know you're watching live. And if you're going to be watching this on a repeat, just type the letter R in the comments below so we know you caught the repeat of it. And Lauren's going to be here. She's actually getting all the cameras set up and helping us with all the comments and stuff coming in. So shoot us any comments, any questions you have along the way as well. And we would love to see what more you have to say. We're going to be featuring these on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. So if you missed the live feeds, we're going to be putting them up every week on the YouTube channel too for Culture Shock. So we also changed our times around a little bit. We're kind of playing around. The first couple episodes we did like 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock. Today is only 4:30, so going to have a little early drink for happy hour. I think happy hour can start early. A lot of things could. So we're all set, yeah? All right, well. Hey guys, welcome to Vinyl Happy Hour. I'm Skylar from Culture Shock Clothing and Records here in Rockford, Illinois. And this is episode 4 now for our Vinyl Happy Hour. One of the reasons we are doing this is because there's such a massive amount of different releases, both from new artists and old artists, and reissues, and so many different record labels that it can be a little frustrating for a record collector when they're trying to do their record shopping. So join us every Thursday night and have a drink with me as we feature at least 5 different records we think you should know about and feature a different drink or bourbon. So you can feel a little more confident and educated whenever you are shopping at your favorite local record store. A lot of great releases tonight. Let me first get a little sip of this so I can let the flavors come out. I haven't had this for a while. We actually went to a tasting and got to go to the distillery we visited Lauren's father last year in Saratoga Springs, New York. And he turned us on to Upstate Distilling Company, a really great little craft distillery. They had several drinks there, and we got to meet with the distiller. I believe her name was Glenna on the place, showed us what they're doing there and how they're barreling everything. Saratoga Springs is a special place. Well, obviously it's called Saratoga Springs, so they're known for their spring waters. So there's a lot of things that go into every different distilling, like how they make their whiskey or liquor or whatever they're making. And right next door to them was, I forgot what name, it's some big major water bottling company though, that has spring water. So obviously the waters have some kind of special potency there that, is really good and healthy. What's also really interesting about the drink that we're choosing here tonight is it's actually a rye whiskey. And another thing you get with different craft distilleries, different ways of making things. This is actually the first New York totally organically grown rye grain whiskey. So it's a little different. I usually drink bourbons, which will have usually a little more of a charred or a syrupy taste. The flavor of this one, it's a little thinner tasting, a little almost easier to drink more of without noticing. And has a little peppery taste, kind of you feel the numbness kind of hitting your lips and your cheeks as you swish it around. Very tasty. With the rye grain, yeah, definitely a little less syrupy tasting, but still has that potency you like. One super special thing about this bottle we got when we were there for the tasting, they made a very small batch. I don't know, you probably can't see this, but there's a little honeybee stamped on this. And this is a 9-month aged bottle number 45, hand numbered. They actually did make a small batch of this, and they used a 10-gallon barrel, I think 10 or 12, a small barrel. So it aged probably a lot quicker. There's a lot more liquor to barrel ratio to give it more of that barrel flavoring. And it didn't need to age as long in this case. So a really cool small batch specialty one there. We actually got to meet Ryan. He made some cocktails for us. It was a really fun experience visiting New York and getting to see Upstate Distilling Company. Right now I feel like one of those guys who wears a band shirt to their favorite band's concert or something because I'm drinking from one of the glasses we got there, even the Upstate Distilling Company. So I think it's okay to drink their branded glass with their liquor. So really good stuff. So that honey is not as strong as you would think, but it is very sweet. I'm really enjoying that. So I'll be having some more of that. This week here, getting to, again, we are doing our vinyl happy hour. We're going to feature some new releases. My first one's going to be an indie exclusive release. It's on color vinyl. I'm not sure if a lot of people know this, but some bands are putting out special versions of their records that you can only get from an independent exclusive store, like our brick and mortar Culture Shock or other indie stores. And those versions aren't available to websites or chain stores. They can come out anytime throughout the year when a new album's coming out, not just during record store day or something like that. So of course, I picked the new Dawes album. This is their 6th album, as indicated by the little sticker on the cover. Passwords is the name of the album. It's a double LP. Oh, produced by Jonathan Wilson, another great kind of more like folky, country-ish artist, you know, modern rock. The new album is a double LP. What's cool about this is it is on limited clear yellow vinyl, and it's got this really funny insert with it. It says, "This document must be posted while listening. Balance tone arm on your record player. Raise the volume and lay face down on the floor." So that's how they expect you to listen to the album. I'll show off the vinyl itself too. It is a very clear yellow vinyl to kind of go with the artwork here as well. Dawes, if you haven't heard them yet, which you should have, they're one of these like modern, kind of folk rock, almost like a soft rock band. Really enjoyable to listen to, very smooth and easy listening. It's indie rock, but it also has a lot of an 80s sound. Bands you're going to be really familiar with, like, Jackson Browne or the Eagles or something like that, but really well recorded, very expert musicians, smooth vocals, smooth guitars, very catchy though. So I've really enjoyed Dawes, and it's cool that they have a new album out that has all the lyrics with it, and they did the indie exclusive color vinyl. So that's Dawes Passwords. That comes out tomorrow. Another one out tomorrow is the new one from the record company. Very confusing name when you say, have you heard the record company? You know, it's like, but it kind of reminds me of bands like The Who or the Guess Who. It's like, which band is it? No, it's the record company. Picture the guys on the back. These guys also kind of very lighter, folk rocky, but in a little more swaggery way. They have like that country blues kick to them. I know they played with My Morning Jack and some bands like that. One cool thing about this one is the picture sleeve on the insert has pictures of them in the recording studio. The coolest thing though is this is another indie exclusive, as you can see, limited vinyl version, and it is on clear marble blue vinyl. So that's really kind of cool and trippy to look at. So I'm really happy to see another band with an indie exclusive color vinyl release. My next release is from probably my favorite band of all time. I've loved everything they've ever done. Really, it just comes down to one man, but he does have other band members, Trent Reznor. This is the new 9 Inch Nails album, Bad Witch. It's part of a series of different EPs, actually. There was 3 different EPs coming out over the last couple of years. They randomly changed this from being called an EP to an album. It's 6 tracks. The other ones were single-sided with no music on the 3rd side. This does have music on both sides, and I guess they're considering it an album, even though it's like a short one. It's only about 30 minutes. It's got a picture inner sleeve too. Trent Reznor has been very skillful at mastering his albums and his recordings for perfection. This album represents a lot of different types of music 9 Inch Nails has made over the last couple of decades. It's got its very heavy, very brutal sounding kind of industrial sounds, very aggressive and loud, but then it has some of those kind of mellow ambient electronic sounds that you've heard him do in some different soundtracks and almost more background. And then even some strange vocal patterns in some songs that almost remind me of like later David Bowie, kind of his electronic songs and stuff like that. So it's really pleasing to hear 9 Inch Nails being able to put music on one album that kind of covers all of their types of sounds and a little bit of a future sound. For such a short album, I've really enjoyed it so far. There was a leak out on YouTube. I was playing it through some headphones to check it out earlier. I thought it sounded great, but then I got the record in today, and some of those deeper, lower bass tones come out really great on the vinyl. Trent Reznor, like I said, he's really skillful about mastering his albums, and some of his older albums were being held from being reissued for the longest time, like The Fragile. He was remastering them and getting them to the best quality sound for vinyl. And luckily they weren't just through his website, they were available to indie stores and stuff too. So we did get in Broken and The Fragile and all of those, and it's even, he calls all of these versions the definitive version, meticulously prepared by Trent Reznor and 9 Inch Nails art director John Crawford. So he's gone through and remastered everything, and the sound quality of the Nine Inch Nails releases is amazing. So happy to see that they are still putting out some new music. The Bad Witch album, that's out tomorrow. Definitely check it out. It's not a super long one, but it's really great. The Fragile, that's a 3-record set. That one is probably one of the most amazing things they've done since the Downward Spiral. And it started right there with them. Now, Nine Inch Nails is one of those bands that I really got into. And one of the first things that made me expand and check them out was, I was probably 14 or 15, a little too young to be watching these movies, but from my holy grail today, Natural Born Killers. Both the movie and the soundtrack are killer. I actually just realized I forgot that this soundtrack was actually produced by Trent Reznor of Nine Inch Nails. The movie is amazing. If you haven't seen it, crazy, great acting from Tommy Lee Jones, Woody Harrelson, Juliette Lewis, who else? Robert Downey Jr. It's like a crazy crime comedy take on modern society. But the music is amazing. And this is something I clear black smoke vinyl, double LP. Oh, it's even numbered. It's like a limited numbered edition for music on vinyl. It's still in print though. This was actually the 20th anniversary edition on color vinyl. The regular one is just on black vinyl. But such a cool soundtrack. The Nine Inch Nails tracks on there, which one of them is only available on the soundtrack, so you had to get it. Originally, it didn't even come out on vinyl. Again, 90s, that's that black hole where there was hardly anything available on vinyl. It did finally get its release on vinyl. Besides Nine Inch Nails, though, a really cool track on there, a haunting track that was beautiful, was the Leonard Cohen song, Waiting for the Miracle. I'm not going to sing it. He's got that really eerie voice, a great musician. What's even cooler, though, about this soundtrack is that it didn't feature some of his older music, which, you know, you've heard on many other things from the 60s and 70s. The movie came out, I think, in 94. It was a song from his 92 album, which at the time was not as well known as his older stuff. So great choice in songs to be used on the soundtrack. Besides that, there was also music from Patti Smith, another great singer. Her band, kind of the post-punky New York scene of the 70s and 80s. This famous album features a song from Easter on there. So just digging down the tracks that I liked on Natural Born Killers is what turned me on to so many other bands and music. Bands I wouldn't have listened to for years probably had I not heard it on that soundtrack and that movie. Another song on there, the great scene where Juliette Lewis, I think, is fighting and the jukebox is playing or something in the bar, is a song from L7. And this is a cool reissue of their album on red vinyl. But L7 was one of those kind of grungy punk bands, you know, all-female band, that I would have been totally into, but I didn't know who they were yet. You know, I was into Nirvana and Pearl Jam, stuff like that. So I heard this song, this cool, heavy, grungy song on that soundtrack, and I started finding out about L7. So in two senses of it really being just the holy grail because of the limited rare version, this was a holy grail because it turned me on to so much other music at a time when I was really into, you know, Nirvana and Nine Inch Nails, stuff like that. And then it turned me on to some older stuff too. The Cowboy Junkies, they did a cover of Sweet Jane in the movie. Just well choreographed, well placement in the movie. So cool. Thumbs up if you've ever seen Natural Born Killers. I recommend it. It's a crazy cool movie. Probably for fans of Pulp Fiction and other things too. But the way the music is used is just so cool. So I got to find out about Cowboy Junkies and then some really old stuff. I think, was it Walking After Midnight? Or no. I'm Back in My Baby's Arms from Patsy, Cline, old country artist of the 50s and 60s. So the music goes anywhere from Nine Inch Nails to Patsy Cline in the movie. There's also some Bob Dylan, Dwayne Eddy, some Peter Gabriel, Jane's Addiction, Dr. Dre. It's such a cool soundtrack, such a crazy movie. Just such a cool art piece, really. The way a movie can really get you into it is with the music. That's what will help you remember that, how that is put together. I mean, shoot, even commercials and TV shows and stuff. Like, music is the key to all of that. So, just an enjoyable movie, and it's one of my holy grails, really, helping me get into music. So, I hope you've enjoyed kind of looking through some records and poking inside and seeing what they look like and knowing about some of the indie exclusives coming out this week. Again, every Friday we get all kinds of new and used releases into the store. So be sure to support your local record stores and check out what's coming out. We have an event going on here later at Lucha Cantina tonight, so we're going to wrap it up. But I just want to say thank you so much. Again, you can find us at Culture Shock 2239 Charles Street here in Rockford, Illinois. We're open 10 to 7 every day, 12 to 5 Sundays. And yeah, keep spinning those records and checking them out. So thanks so much, guys. Leave some comments below. See you next Thursday. Cheers.